This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. On this installment of Discover the Upper Cumberland, we travel to historic Granville and Jackson County for some old-time music. Next, we learn more about the history behind the Freehill community in Clay County, and then we see what makes the Foglight Foodhouse a culinary destination in White County. Stay tuned for Discover the Upper Cumberland on WCTE, your Upper Cumberland PBS.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture.
Welcome to Discover the Upper Cumberland, the series, where we explore our region of Tennessee. I'm your guide, Desiree Duncan. Granville is a historic town nestled by the Cordell Hull Lake in Jackson County. It's home of the T.B. Sutton General Store, Granville Museum, Sutton Homestead, and Pioneer Village. The General Store is also the host of the Sutton Old Time Music Hour radio show. Producer Craig Gray and Jacob Carr takes us along for some of old-time pickin' in Granville.
Granville Museum was formed in 1999 as a historic museum, and then in 2000 Harold and Beverly Sutton came to Granville and discovered the general store at our Heritage Day that we have each May, and they were able to purchase the store and restored it and opened a year later. And they operated the store until 2007 when they gave the store to the Granville Museum with two provisions: that we would operate it as a general store and that we would offer Saturday night bluegrass, which we have been doing for the last 6 years. We also have an operating grist mill that is a Williams mill that will ground up to 2,000 pounds of corn a day, which we do grind about once a quarter, and we sell that mill at the store. We also operate a loom, a blacksmith shop, and also a Pioneer Village that contains the 1820 log cabin that was built by the Williamson family originally here in Granville, which we have moved to the site. We also operate an antique car museum and a Guff service station that is open Wednesday through Saturday. It has a different exhibit in it each quarter. The Sutton Homestead home also has a different exhibit in it, which changes each quarter as well. The T.B. Sutton General Store was actually built in 1880, and we operate it Wednesday through Saturday. We have a lunch counter and a great merchandise. Each Saturday night we have the Sutton Old Time Music Hour. We have dinner at 5 and 6:30 with a live radio taping with a warm-up show at 6 and the taping at 7 p.m. We are broadcast over 22 radio stations as well as from our website and other means each week, as well as going out to our military all over the world each week as well. We have a different bluegrass band each Saturday night. We set up like 100 chairs in the center of the store, plus our balcony. At the Sutton Homestead Pioneer Village, we have an antique car museum, which is also a replica of the Guff service station that was the Raglan service station that sat adjacent to the Sutton General Store. It is a transportation museum displaying all the modes of transportation in the history of Granville, as well as a display of all of the different places that have sold gasoline here in Granville as well. It also contains 8 antique automobiles that we rotate on a quarterly basis, some of the most unique automobiles that you can find anywhere. Also, it includes antique toys, antique tractor, and other means of transportation, as well as a display of all of the products that Guff made in its history. Earlier this afternoon, we were at the Antique Car Museum, and you were filming Barney Fife, Andy Taylor, and Gomer Pyle, that are characters in the dinner play that we do here at Sutton Store each December and February, the first 2 weeks of each month. Based on a different show each time, we have all of the characters of the Andy Griffith Show. It's a great time to come and have a wonderful dinner and a 2-act play that will leave you in humor for sure. Historic Granville is operated by 157 volunteers that give of their time to operate the Granville Museum, the Sutton General Store, and the Sutton Homestead. We have only one paid staff member that is the manager of the store. What you see here in Granville and what we've been able to achieve is because of the wonderful dedication of the great volunteers that we have. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 3 at the museum and the homestead. The store open 10 to 3, and Saturdays we're open everywhere from 10 to 5.
I'm here with Neil Applebaum from the Arts Center of Cannon County, talking about some of the cool things that are going down there. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Arts Center.
The Arts Center opened on John Bragg Highway 26 years ago, and it was a sort of a joint effort of a local theater group and the local craft association, and they came together and built a joint big building that could do both visual arts and theater.
Yeah, I think when I first got to town, I was hearing a lot about some of the great shows that you do, a lot of big musicals.
We produce 10 productions each year inside the building, so 6 full-length theatrical plays or musicals, and then 3 shows that are just for kids, and those are for daytime school field trips.
Okay, and also with visual arts, how does that?
We have a gallery called the Burger Gallery, and we do 6 shows in there a year of local artists. That work is for sale. We have an exhibition hall that also shows part of our collection, and then other work that we want to show to the public. And then we have the craft shop, and that's open year-round.
And how did you get involved with the Arts Center?
Several years ago, I was working on some solar projects, and at the time, someone had said, hey, if the Arts Center has a great big south-facing roof, let's see if there's a solar installation we can do there. So in kind of a backwards way, I got involved with the Arts Center, just presenting that offer from this investor who wanted to do more solar projects. And after that, the board asked me to become a member of the board. And then a year after that, when there was a change of executive directors, I applied for the position.
Cool. And you've been quite a man about town in Cannon County, doing a lot of great work in that area. How big of a role does arts play in that?
I think the Arts Center is the biggest single draw to the community. We bring in hundreds of people a week for productions. People eat in our in-house restaurant at the Arts Center. The Historical Society, has work that comes up in the Arts Center. So we have lots of reasons for people to be in the building.
Cool. Tell us a couple of the shows that you have going on this season.
Ghost the Musical is on right now, and then we'll switch into 12 Angry Men. That's the stage production of the famous movie, and then after that we'll do Mary Poppins.
But one of your biggest events at the Arts Center is your White Oak Craft Fair, correct?
It is the biggest single drawing event of the year. We've been doing it for 26 years, so at the time the building was built, we also started doing the White Oak Craft Fair outside around the building, and now we have 5 acres of grounds that back up to the river, and we should expect 4,000 to 5,000 people through that weekend in September.
Wow, that's a huge boost to the economy during that time period.
It's a great way to show the best of Cannon County to people all over the state.
So explain to folks that have not heard about it, what is the White Oak Craft Fair?
It's a juried show, which means we've carefully reviewed all the work to make sure it meets our standards, and we have other professionals who come in and sort of assess the work. We have returning artists who have been with us for probably almost 26 years, and then there's always fresh faces. We want to bring in new work, new craft, new medium on a regular basis. So it's an outdoor event. It backs up onto the river, so it's an outdoor setting, and it's a busy, busy day.
So are the artists, are they local, or are they coming from all over the state or all over the country?
They're mostly from Middle Tennessee, and then there's usually one person from Knoxville, one person from Memphis. We're always open for new craft artists. It's a relatively inexpensive craft fair as these things go, for being so high profile and what we think is well managed.
Now, with it being up against the river, is that a component to the day's event, or?
If the water's high, yes, take your shoes off and go, step into the river. Our river starts in Cannon County, so sometimes it's 6 inches deep, and sometimes it's 3 or 5 feet deep. So it's a lovely backdrop for the show. Half the booths face the river.
So how can people find out more information about the fair?
artscenterofcc.com is our website, and if you just look up Arts Center on Facebook, Arts Center of Cannon County, you'll find us, and there's lots of information out there.
Are you still taking submissions?
We are looking for 3 or 4 more vendors, and we call them craft vendors, but we have fine artists, people selling works for thousands of dollars, and people selling $50 items. As long as the work is finally crafted by that person, we're happy to consider a submission.
Okay. And one last thing, what is the date?
September 12th and 13th. It's all day Saturday, all day Sunday, 9 to 5.
All right, thank you, Neil, for joining us. And that's the White Oak Craft Fair that's happening at the Arts Center of Cannon County, September 12th and 13th.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and we'll get back to more on Discover the Upper Cumberland. Freehill, just north of Salina in Clay County, is a rural Black community whose original residents made the tree-covered mountain their home after being freed by a slaveholder from North Carolina by the name of Virginia Hill, hence the name Freehill. Members of the community built their own stores, clubs, and eateries and made a living farming, logging, and rafting in the area. Producers Jacob Carr and Mark Dudney traveled to the homecoming celebration of this historic community.
Freehill is an African-American community in Clay County, founded when America was young. It was profiled by National Geographic. Its Rosenwald School was listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and the Freehill Church of Christ has been the bedrock of the community since its founding. Every July, the community celebrates its homecoming.
Homecoming is something in which we have actually celebrated for 199 years, in which all our families have gathered in something that has been a beautiful moment where a lot of our families have come in from all around the United States.
Freehill community was established before the Civil War, and it was by a woman, Virginia Hill, and we're not sure where she actually originated from, but the family story is that she came from North Carolina, and she purchased over 400 acres. And after that time, she freed the slaves that she had traveled here with.
I'm a resident of Freehill. I went to school here in Freehill at our little old Rosenwald two-room school.
I grew up here many years, and I remember everything from playing basketball games up here to riding sleds down this hill just right below us. So I have a lot of fond memories of this community. It's a great place. It's a great place to live, great place to go up. Doesn't have the modern conveniences of a city, but there's a lot of history here and a lot of welcoming arms, and it just, you never feel like this has always been home to me.
We're just one big happy family all over the whole community here. So if one has something to eat, everybody else has it, because they'll share with one another. Just like today, we had all that food, and, you know, one brought this, where you bringing that? So we just all put it together, and we have a good meal.
The church initially was founded before 1816, somewhere around there. And initially it wasn't here. They moved the port beams were with chestnuts, and I think 10 by 10s with mules from the other location to here to build upon this, to build a church here. Now, throughout all time, the church has been the central focus of the community. The reason being, if anybody would in need that the church could possibly extend a helping hand, they do so.
The second Sunday in July of every year, many people gather here to Freehills for our birthday, the birthday here, homecoming as we call it. All the descendants and of those who have gone on before, who laid the foundation for us, we all gather here just to meet each other, to celebrate how far we've come. The church is still here, the families are still here. Not as many as was, but there is some families still here. To meet new cousins, to speak with old cousins, those you haven't seen in a while. Most of the families have moved away from here, and they're all over the United States. So everybody comes back here to see each other and introduce the new kids, the new grandkids, nieces and nephews. This year is 199 years. Next year will be the 200th year celebration, the bicentennial.
Free Hill enjoys a proud heritage. Its citizens have gone out into the world, excelled in diverse careers, and many have served in the military. It's a history of hard work, strong faith, blues music, and most of all, a sense of community.
I'm here with Carolyn Wilson from Komen, Upper Cumberland, and they do a lot of great work in the community when it comes to women's health. Give us a little bit of a synopsis about what Komen does in the Upper Cumberland.
So Komen started here in 2006 and started as a group of volunteers because they saw a need in the Upper Cumberland, women who were not being served. And so what we do is raise money to then grant it to nonprofits for screening, mammograms, diagnostic, treatment support, those types of things. What are some of the issues that get in the way of these women getting the screenings? Well, there are several, and throughout the Upper Cumberland, we see a lack of screening because women are busy. We tend to take care of other people before ourselves. There's also a lack of education about the importance of getting screened because we know that early detection saves lives. So I think a lot of women aren't informed, and then taking the time when you have to, if you live in Macon County and then you have to drive 30 minutes to an hour to get screening, that's time away from your family or your job, and so we just tend to put our health on the back burner sometimes. Right, I imagine that being in more rural areas such as the surrounding counties of the Upper Cumberland, that is a major issue. Absolutely. It's an economic issue. Yes, yes. And so what are some of the ways that Komen is helping alleviate that? I know that you're giving money to different nonprofits, but like how can a woman go and make sure that she's being healthy? So one of the ways that we're helping women across the Upper Cumberland is doing small grants to nonprofits. So we have grants with a hospital in Macon County, with a mobile unit in Macon County, with a hospital in Smith County, and those grants provide money for women to without insurance or who are underinsured to receive free mammograms. Oh, good. Good, good, good. And for someone that maybe doesn't know what that means when you say that you're giving grants, just give is there a general? So what a grant looks like is a nonprofit in the Upper Cumberland could come to us and say, we see a need in our community. We realize that women are not getting screened and we have a high incident of late stage diagnosis. And so we want to do something about that. So they apply to us for money, and we give them money to do screening mammograms or diagnostic treatment, and then they are then able to reach out to the women in their communities and let them know that there is a place for them to come. Now, one of the biggest ways that you all are able to raise money to fund projects and help solve issues like this in the community is your big race. That's right. So our race is our biggest fundraiser that we do, and it funds the majority of the grants. Last year, we were able to fund $75,000 worth of community grants. And so that's money that goes directly back into the community. Absolutely. 75 cents of every dollar raised here in the Upper Cumberland stays here in the Upper Cumberland for our community grants. Excellent, excellent. Because I know a lot of the worry is that the money just kind of goes to a national organization, but right. With yours, with the Komen Upper Cumberland, it stays right here in our area. Yeah, we like to say we live here, we race here, and we save lives here. It does stay here. And each year you have a spokesperson that is kind of you want to highlight some of the survivors in the area? We do. We have a partnership with New Balance, and every year we select a New Balance survivor, and this year our survivor is from Clay County, Tennessee. And what is why did you choose Clay County? Clay County is one of our target communities for the next 4 years going forward. We are working really hard to provide education, awareness, and some outreach to Clay, Macon, and Smith counties. So we were excited that there was a survivor that was willing to serve as our New Balance survivor this year.
And then she also serves as your community person in those areas, right?
She is our community outreach coordinator, so she's just a resource in the community for women that have questions that they can ask Jan.
Okay, so tell us, when is the race and how can folks get involved?
So the race this year, we're excited. It's on a Saturday. It's Saturday, September 26th, and you can get involved by joining the race and walking with us and celebrating our survivors, or donating to a team or an individual that's already walking.
All right, that's the Komen Upper Cumberland Race for the Cure here in Cookeville on September 26th.
That's right.
And thank you again, Carolyn Wilson, for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll get back with more Discover the Upper Cumberland. In 1996, Foglight Foodhouse opened its doors in Walling by Edward Philpo and his brothers. And since then, the restaurant has become a culinary destination with its eclectic menu, rustic interior design, views high above the Caney Fork River, and not to mention they've got calf killer on tap. Producer Rick Wallace serves us Foglight Foodhouse.
Foglight started back, really it originated in '96. My twin brother Paul, my older brother Ian, and I were all sitting around Ian's house one night after a couple of beers, and my twin brother Paul said, man, you know, I got an idea. Walling really needs something. And of course we were like, you think Walling needs something? Because, you know, there's just virtually nothing going on. And of course we said, what's that? And he said, man, Walling needs a restaurant. And I said, I can think of about 1,000 things that Walling needs before it needs a restaurant. But after a little bit of manipulation and some pretty bold statements, the next morning we were looking at our original location, which is about a half mile up the road from here. So we were in the original location for about 6.5 years, and we started looking for property around where we could build something that was going to be a little more conducive to what, you know, to our grand vision that originated under the influence of a couple of beers in my brother's living room. And this is how we ended up here on Powerhouse Road, right on the Caney Fork River. You know, a lot of people ask me, why did I get into it? It just kind of happened. The restaurant business didn't happen to me. I kind of happened to it. The menu here at the Foglight Foodhouse has become very diverse. It's a very solid menu. It used to rotate almost regularly. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for it to change out 2 or 3 times a year. And I used to do, you know, a lot of times it would be season specific, or I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd write down these cool ideas and all this kind of stuff. Now I'm too old and too tired to be waking up in the middle of the night for anything involving work. But the menu now consists of primarily of things that we've done throughout the past that have become stars. You know, in the restaurant business, a lot of us refer to, if it's a really popular item and it's profitable and people love it and all that, we consider it a star. Otherwise, it's considered a dog. So we washed out all the dogs and we've kept all the stars, and it's just a real clean, simple, straightforward menu. We do a lot of seafood. We get wild Alaskan salmon. We do a lot of catfish too. So we don't stick to specifically high end or lower end things. And I don't consider catfish to be low end because it's one of my favorite things. But we've got a pretty extensive Cajun menu with jambalaya and red beans and rice and crawfish etouffee and Cajun blackened, whatever you want us to Cajun blacken. Pasta dishes with real nice, beautiful cream sauces that we make fresh daily, and we do crab cakes. We do fresh cut steaks. I hand select all of our meats, cut them all in-house. We either smoke them or marinate them here. We almost never marinate them, but some people ask us if we'll do that for them. A lot of pork, a lot of chicken. I'm really proud of what we've done here. You know, I designed the whole building, me and my family, and a construction crew built it. So it's special. I think it feels kind of special to people when they come in. It feels old and familiar. The reason to come the first time is because we're just different. We're special. We work extra, extra hard all the time. And yes, we mess up because we're humans, but we always make it better. The reason you should come back is because it's probably going to be better the next time, because it takes a while for a lot of people to really understand exactly what we do here, and what we do is through one phrase that I love more than just about any other, and that's purity of purpose. We are here to make pretty food for pretty people, to make their evening special every single time they come. And that's my mission. Foglight Foodhouse business hours are closed Sunday and Monday, open Tuesday through Thursday, serving dinner from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m., Friday and Saturday, serving dinner from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m.
We'd love to see the Upper Cumberland through your eyes. So tag us in your Instagram pics with #DiscoverUC, and Back to School is this month's theme. Send us your pics and you just might see your shot on our next episode. For more info on this show and to catch your favorite segments, visit our website wcte.org/discover. Also, if you have any topic ideas, email them to discover@wcte.org. We leave you with this performance from the Old Time Music Hour radio show in Granville. Thanks for joining us, and remember to get out there and discover the Upper Cumberland.
I won't be kissed, but only by your lips, dear. No, you're the only one who'll ever do. I want someone to hug and call me honey. I want to be loved only by you.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.